Hey, Miss Shelley, sitting there sipping on your tea. I'm
I know. How are you doing, Tammy?
great. How are you?
Good. Very good.
Good.
Guess you guys are ready.
See, it looks like 8:28. It looks like we're getting there. Just waiting for Shayne to get on. See if Shayne, are you on? Okay, I'm gonna pause recording. Okay, everybody, this is Tammy Higginbotham, and I have the honor of welcoming Shayne Devlin to our call tonight to be our guest trainer. And Shayne and I have been getting to know each other, and I'm already just crazy about this woman. She is absolutely infectious and amazing, and I just want to see her. I can't wait to give her a big hug in Maui. We found out we're both dog lovers. Hers are half Aussie and mine are full Aussie, and we're our puppy lovers. And so let me give you a little information about Shayne. Shayne is a married mom of two daughters, 21 and 19 years old. This woman doesn't look like she has 21 and 19-year-old kids. She married her junior high sweetheart. How sweet is that? Let me see here. She's been in Arbonne for 14 years, and she is proud to say it took her 9 years to RVP, and the total of 14 years that she's been in to ENVP. So she is a new ENVP, and we are so excited to hear from you, Shayne. You just warm my heart every time I hear you speak. So it's all yours, sister.
Thank you so much, Love Bug. Can you hear me okay? Is the quality okay?
It's perfect.
Awesome, awesome. Well, hello, guys. I am so excited to be here with you all tonight. I am super stoked whenever I get to feed into anyone else's success line, because I know that, I always appreciate it and love when people are doing that for me and for my team. And I just hope to get to know you all a little bit. And I'm praying that whatever message I have for you tonight, that it touches you somewhere in your heart and your business, and that I'm able to give you just a little bit of hope and just a little bit of change. So first of all, I want to let you know that I will be talking a little bit about my faith tonight. I am a Proverbs 31 woman with a little bit of Missy Elliott. So I like my crunk music. I got a little bit of funk going on, but I do love Jesus, and I do love, working faith into this business a little bit. So like Carlita, listen to me, like Tammy was saying, Arbonne found me 14 years ago. And at the time when it found me, it was through a sample pack. I had two small daughters. They were in kindergarten, preschool, wherever we were at that point. I had a hair salon that I owned, and I really had no time for foolishness. Like, I was a busy mom on a mission, all right? However, I had big, huge, fat, hairy, scary dreams about having an amazing life. And I was one of those people that I grew up all my life knowing that I was going to have an awesome life. Like, how you know that you know that you know. I just didn't know how I was going to make that happen. Do you want me to wait for you to mute that person out? Are you good? Awesome, perfect.
I think we're good, but I'm going to be watching closely.
Awesome. No worries, no worries, no worries. That's okay. One of the things that I had going, like I said, was that I was a dreamer, and it was also that I was the baby of 10 kids. So I was already used to being the oddball. I was used to being the outlier. There was a huge difference in age. So I was kind of used to that placement of being a little bit set apart, okay? So when Arbonne found me, I had a few hesitations that came with me from another network marketing company that I was with, and never did a bloody thing with it. I just loved a couple products that they had, but I never found that company had heart. Okay, it just didn't have a heart, and it didn't have a soul. It wasn't capturing me. So basically what happened is somebody shared Arbonne with me, kept tripping on me, kept getting me to come to events, and finally asked me to go to a big event about an hour and a half away. And guys, when I came into Arbonne, I came in through a sample pack because I had horrible adult acne. I'm talking cystic acne, bleeding sores. I had perfect skin. Terry Wilson's on this. Oh, my aching heart. I didn't even see her. I love you, Terry. I'm sorry. I get a little sidetracked. I'm a little bit of a squirrel. So Anyway, I never had acne my entire life until I had gotten pregnant with my first daughter. So I said to my husband the night of this big event, honey, I was crying. I'm like, there's no way I can go to a skincare gig. Look at me. I am a mess. I am bleeding. This is terrible. And I'll never forget him saying to me, he goes, babe, go wash your face, put on some of that spackle you women do, and I'm going to go with you. And so we got dressed up, we went to this, and that was the night that really, really changed my life. I remember sitting there listening to speaker after speaker and thinking to myself, I found my tribe. I found the people that I really want to do life with. And it anchored me to this business. And I said yes to the business. But I titled this training tonight, Say Yes to the Mess. And it was after I just listened to Steve Furtick from Elevation Church. My husband and I just watched him tonight. And as I was listening, I'm like, all right, I got to change a few things in my training because this is so perfect. How many of us say yes to this business, but we didn't know we're saying yes to the mess? So we're saying yes to all the ugly and all the sticky that comes with it, right? So I would love to tell you after that night that it was amazing. It changed my life. I was Cinderella at the ball and I went MVP in 27 seconds. But guys, it didn't happen like that for me. It really didn't. I was 5 years to get to area. I was almost another 5 to get to region. And I was about 4 to get to MVP. And when I went MVP, I went ENVP because I had someone who promoted to MVP before me, and she promoted an MVP before me. So I promoted a daughter MVP and her granddaughter MVP before I went, right? Why? Because I want you to know I came to this business with no skills for this business. The only 2 gifts I had was that I love people. I absolutely love people. I'm super, super nosy, maybe 3 gifts. I'm super nosy. Some people call it curious. Nosy, curious. Like I love people's stories. I love getting inside their stories. And I am not afraid to work my booty off. Like I was a hard-working chick. That was it. Those are the only 3 things that I had going for me. And so really, if I wanted this to work, I had no college, I had no team building skills, I had never played on a team, never been part of a team, and I was not cool. Like I am the nerdiest nerdly nerder, okay? I'll get crunk up with you in the club, but I am a bookworm, book-loving geek. So I had decided that if I was going to make it, I was going to have to dig in deep and learn a lot. I was going to have to go to school. So think about how many people on this call, how many of you went to college? You can raise your hand. I can see a bunch of you, okay? A whole bunch of you went to college, right? That was 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever it was. You weren't making any money while you were there. As a matter of fact, you were paying out a lot of money to come out and learn a skill set, right? I want you to think of your Arbonne business. Oh, some are still in school. Exactly. Thank you, Brooklyn. Like some of you are still there and you're paying out a lot of money.
That looks pretty.
Exactly what happens with Arbonne. I decided that I was going to go to school. So I'm going to go over quickly a couple things with you because I want to kind of get to the meat of this and what's going to really root out some things for you. So I took notes. I don't usually read from notes, but I didn't want to leave any out. So the first thing, and I numbered these for those of you that are type A. First thing I really had to learn was that facts tell, stories sell, right? My presentations were so freaking boring that I am lucky I still have friends. I was so in love with our nanospheres and our peptides that were in our RE9, and like I could sit and talk about the science all night long. I already had pH strips at my salon. I told you I was a nerd. I wasn't that super cool hairdresser. I was the one that was like, what's the pH in this product, right? I was such a geek. But here's the deal, that was boring the living heck out of people. Their eyes were rolling back in their head. I'm like, are you awake? Are you conscious? I had to learn none of that mattered. So I read a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And I learned that people really don't care how much you know, but they know how much you care. I innately did that behind the hair chair, but for some reason it didn't translate into this Arbonne business. what you call a slow learner, I guess, right? I had to learn these things. The second thing I had to learn was healthy boundaries, how to say no. How many of you struggle when this call was saying no? Let's be honest with each other, okay? We're friends. We struggle with saying no, especially as women, right? We feel guilty if we're not doing everything that everybody around us wants. But here's the deal. If you're doing, oh, sorry, I love that, Brooklyn. She says sorry all the time. Yes, I've switched that. Now, instead of saying, I'm so sorry that I was late because of traffic, I say, thank you for waiting for me. See the difference? Isn't that such a great flip? Okay, so I did a course called Getting Addicted to Your Greatness with Keith Kochner. It was one of his boot camps. And through it, I learned that I could not do everything, be everything to everyone, and serve my purpose. All right. And I will tell you, I remember the first time I had to say no. My dad lives with me. My dad is now 90. When I started this business, he was 76. And side note, he had to teach me how to email. I didn't know how to email. I was in my 30s, but as a hairdresser, I didn't need it. So my 76-year-old dad had to teach me how to email. And he is like my right-hand man. He would give anything for me and my daughters and my family. And so I remember one day when he wanted me to run errands with him and I had to say no because I had to do some of my business activity. And you guys, he left the house and it still chokes me up to this day because I remember when he left, I seriously cried. I cried because I said no to running errands with my dad because I knew he wanted me to go. That's what a people pleaser I was. You have to learn to say no to the good so you can say yes to the great. Make space. You know, if there's no space, you can't fill it. If every second of your day is booked and taken up, you're leaving no space for your activity, for your personal growth, any of that. You need to make that space. Third thing, unhealthy relationship with money. I felt so guilty making a lot of money. I don't know if any of you have ever felt that way, but you know, growing up, I heard money is the root of all evil. And nobody meant, like my parents were not ill-meaning. They didn't mean to put that program into my head. And I don't even know if it was them that said it. Oh, the name of the second book, I'm sorry, Yvonne. It was not a book. It was Keith Kochner, and he has a boot camp, Getting Addicted to Your Greatness. Okay. So here's the deal. Nobody meant to place that story inside my head about money being the root of all evil. And by the way, it doesn't say that. It says the love of money, the lust of money is the root of all evil, okay? Money can do amazing things in this world. Money is a tool, just like any other tool. A hammer can be used to destroy a wall or to build one. It is the same with money. We can use it to do bad things in this world, or we can do amazing, amazing things. And I've done life both ways. I've done it broken with money. And, you know, Tammy and I were joking today that Rita Davenport used to say money isn't everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. No doubt. Our team came together this past weekend for a retreat, and collectively through a raffle, we were able to raise over $6,500 to build homes in Guatemala. That's 2 full homes, and we're working on our third. 2,500 funds a home. That is using money to good use. And guess what? I couldn't do it when I was broke. So I had to learn that. Again, I did Keith Kochner's Getting Addicted to Your Financial Greatness boot camp. And I'm just giving you some of these books and some of these tools because I don't know what's inside of you that needs to be rooted out. But if it is some of those things, those were cool tools I used. 4, I had to figure out that Arbonne was my vehicle to my true purpose. And I remember reading the book Soul Print by Mark Batterson. And I remember being in my bed the night that I made the head-to-heart connection. Like, you know how you just remember when you were in some places? Like everybody remembers where they were at 9/11. If you were alive then, I don't know how young everybody on this call is. You know, some people it may have been when Kennedy was shot, whatever. My parents talk about that. I remember where I was, you guys, because I remember going, oh, this isn't about me. This isn't about me paying my mortgage. This is about teaching you how to pay your mortgage, how to give to the things that are aching your heart, how to help your children, your babies. And when I made that connection, it changed everything. It changed everything. Number 5, I had to learn that this business is for me, not just those other people. Somewhere along the line in my head, I had come up with this vision that there was me and then there were those people that got it. Because I didn't always make connections really quick when I was young, like meaning mental connections. I was a daydreamer that had to be called back to class all the time. And it's not that I wasn't intelligent. It isn't that. It's that I just wasn't making the switch sometimes. And somewhere along the line, I started thinking that it was for those people. You know, maybe they were all blonde, size 4s, and from the South with a cute drawl. I don't know, like whatever was sticking in my head, right? Whatever I was seeing at GTC. And if you're a mom on this call or a dad, I want you to think about
Maybe we're gonna trip in quick.
all those.
Sounds good.
Workout.
Sounds good.
We could actually get to bed before 10 o'clock, maybe. Where's Carterstown?
Tammy, I'll give you a little
Hey,
tip.
Melissa Brown, you're not muted. Just so you know.
I'll give you a quick tip. If you mute everybody, if you mute everybody and then uncheck the box that says allow them to unmute, then you can go in the chat and unmute just the one person you want. Just a quick tip if you want to do that. I can't hear you, honey. You're muted. Tammy, you're muted.
Okay. For some reason, Shayne, they're getting unmuted, but we have done that. So
Oh, okay.
I apologize, but
No,
you got cut off for a minute.
Baby, nothing bothers me. I'm totally okay.
That's why I love you.
Remember, I'm the baby at 10?
Pardon me?
I said, remember, I'm the baby at 10. There was a little cray-cray going on in my house. Do you need to fix something or do you want me to just continue?
Got it. You go ahead. I'm trying to keep up with the unmutes and I do apologize. I don't know why.
No worries. Don't apologize. So guys, I want you to think about something. What you say to yourself, if your child came home and said to you all of those same ugly things about themselves, it would rip your freaking heart out. It would rip your heart out. Like all those things you're saying inside of your head, how you don't fit in, how you're not enough, how you're too big, you're too little, you're too blonde, you're too brunette, you're too whatever. If your child said those things, it would kill you. Well, what do you think it does to our Father when you're saying it, right? Or even to your parents. Think about that. It is so limiting. It is so limiting. So I really got to work and I read the book called Mastering Your Mean Girl. Can't remember who wrote it. I think it was Melissa Ambrosini or something like that. And then You Are a Badass. I loved both of those books together. They were absolutely powerful. And they really got me to see that if this business is not just for a certain type of person, okay? It's for all of us. And here's the thing that I really had to get through my head. If I didn't see somebody like me up there at GTC, guess what? It's my job to get my butt up there at GTC so that the people that identify me with me can see me. Does that make sense to you guys? Like if you don't see you up there, get your butt up there so that other people can say, oh, there's that nerdly nerder that likes to read books, right? Like they gotta see somebody that they can connect with. And trust me, there are more than just you that have those qualities, that have those characteristics. Okay, next, I had to learn how to have a team, how to be a team player. I never played team sports. I never got that. The only thing I was part of was a family. And it's way different than having a business team with different kinds of professional boundaries. So I read the book, The 11 Rings by Phil Jackson. And oh my gosh, that made such a difference on my journey to nation from region. It made such a difference. And then I want you to think next about what you're doing with your business right now and all the people that you are trying to bring with you and how that's holding you back, okay? Because you need to know that you cannot save somebody who doesn't want to be saved. I love the story of the drowning man who prays to God to save him. And a boat comes along and says, come on, here's a life raft. And he says, no, no, God's going to save me. And then next comes a helicopter and they throw down their line and they're like, come on, climb up. And he's like, no, 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 God's going to save me. And then he drowns and he gets to heaven and he goes, God, what happened? And God says, I sent you a boat and I sent you a helicopter. Right? But he didn't take it. We're sending people this Arbonne vehicle. You cannot pull them across the finish line, ladies and gentlemen. You can't. They have to want it. The best thing you can do for your team is go. Do it yourself. Sponsor like you've never sponsored. Like whack it out and run forward, because when they're watching you, it inspires them. When you're waiting for them, it does nothing. Like, think about what you want to be part of, right? When somebody walks into the room and they like light up the room, you want to be part of that energy. When somebody walks into the room and they're like, I'm here, thanks for asking about me. Eeyore, like nobody wants to be part of that, right? It's the same with the energy in our business. And you may think your team doesn't know, your team always knows. Your team always knows. I don't know how we know, but we know. Like I know when my upline was doing something or not. My team knows when I am or not. It's like this unspoken, crazy, metaphysical rule, but they know. Okay, the last thing I really had to work on was what I needed to let go of that wasn't serving me. So this last book like rocked my world. I read it this year, Going Nation, and it's called The Last Arrow by Erwin McManus. And I am going to send Tammy this whole list of books and boot camps so that if you guys don't worry about like being in a frenzy to write down the books. But here's the deal. I read that book and I realized that I needed to surrender. Which I was joking with Tammy. I told her that was the word that God gave me this year was surrender. I had a guest on my team call, my nation call, and the word popped into my head and I wrote it down and I went, oh dear Lord, I hope that's not for me. And of course it was for me. And now when I tell people, they're like, what's your word this year? And I'm like, surrender. They're like, oh, that's a great word. And I'm like, yeah, heifer, because it's mine, not yours. Like surrender is a great word when it's somebody else's. It's so deep and like magical and surrender. You like feel like you're Gandhi or something. I'll tell you what, it kind of sucks when you get it because you got to surrender. Now you've got to let go of something, right? You've got to let go of something that you've been holding on to. And for me, it was my hair salon. It was my hair salon and it was a whole bunch of head junk. So I want you to think about this. When we're saying yes to this business, we also have to say yes to the process of growing. You can't have the business without the process. You don't want the process without the business because then you're spinning your wheels and going nowhere, right? Way of the Warrior. I've heard that's a great book. So the only way to go through this refining process, you guys, is to do your personal growth, but to get your butt into action. Because you can read till the cows come home. It is very easy for me, who is a book lover, to curl up on my couch or in my bed and read and read and read. And, oh, that's so deep. And ooh, that's a good one. But here's the deal. Unless you experience it, nothing is going to change. You can read about tying your shoes forever, but until you actually put your fingers to the laces, you're probably not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? You can read about ice skating, but until you lace up those skates and get on the ice, it's a totally different process, right? Faith without works is dead. Action is the only way for us to grow. It's the only way. So stop waiting for your ace. Stop hoping that you're going to post a couple things on social media and like find the next giant. You know, Val Edwards was just our guest speaker at our retreat, and she was quoting I think it was Dr. Tom Barrett, and he said, hey, this is the deal. This overnight social media, if you're hoping for that, that's kind of gone by already. That was like 2 years ago. We're on to something different. So do your social media for sure. Get really good at doing that. But don't forget about your belly to belly, your parties, your one-on-ones, your virtuals. You got to use everything. I'm hoping you guys use everything. probably speaking out of school, your bag drop-offs, like letting people sample things, whatever it is your team uses, guys, you gotta do it all. And you gotta do a lot of it. You gotta do a lot of it, okay? So I'm gonna tell you a couple different stories, because what I find is when poop hits the fan, what pulls you forward, and I like pulling you forward. I hate push. Nobody likes to be pushed, right? I don't like to be pushed. I love to buy things, but I don't like to be sold. I don't like to be pushed into anything. My dreams draw me. My dreams pull me. I want you to think of how that feels when I say to you, Melissa, I'm going to push you into going region. That doesn't feel good, right? But when I say, Melissa, share with me your dreams. Let's talk about your desires that are in your heart. Let's dream together big, fat, hairy, scary dreams, and let's let those pull you. Let's let those give you that urge every day to go to work. So I'm going to share with you, when I was buying my first house, I was 21, my husband was 23, and I was broke, but I had a ton of credit. He had money and he had no credit, because we're a perfect combo. I obviously shopped, so I had credit cards that I had paid off. So anyways, it took us 6 months of paperwork to buy that first house. And it was a tiny little $85,000 house, okay? And the realtor was so sweet and amazing. She would let us go into that house almost daily. We probably went in every single week, if I think back, every weekend. And we would lay on the floor and I would dream. We would sit there and we would dream about, what is it going to feel like when this house is ours? What's it going to feel like? What are we going to decorate it like? Where are we going to put the furniture? And like, we had no furniture. We had to just borrow and buy whatever. But it was our dream. It was deep inside us. And it was taking forever. And there was so many tears on the way and more paperwork. And like, it felt like we were signing our life away. And my husband kept going, honey, just forget it. We'll live at home longer. We'll do whatever. And I said, no, I'm not forgetting it. This is our dream, and I don't quit. That's my other gift. I don't quit. My dad calls me a bulldog with a bone. He goes, you are a pit bull with a bone. I am not saying it like I was born that way. There are plenty of things I have quit. I've learned to not quit. And I want you guys, remember, I'm just Jenny from the blog. Like, there is nothing extraordinary about me. Okay, I'm from a little town in southern New Hampshire. If I can learn to not quit, so can you. If I can learn to have my dreams pull me forward, so can you, but you got to get clear on them. And long story short, because I persevered, we bought that house. And then the same thing happened with the next house. It was already sold to somebody else. And they're like, forget it. You're not going to get that house. And I'm like, I'm putting in a second offer. And it took us months. Point is, when you are so freaking clear on what you want, the universe is going to conspire for the woman who knows where she's going. I'm telling you, it might not happen in a nanosecond. Most house closings didn't take 6 months back then, but it did happen. Most MVPs might not take 14 years, but it did happen for me, which means it can happen for you. And when we were in grade grade this year, I noticed that a lot of the MVPs were 12, 13, 14, 15 years it took us to get to MVP. And it's okay. It's okay, because it's so worth it. So I'm going to tell you why it's worth it. Let me just pick through. All right, 14 years ago, when I started this business, I had no clue that my oldest daughter, her sophomore year of high school, would get sick with a virus that we could not figure out. And she would miss 6 months of school. And she would need money from me to help her get well, and time, because I had to bring her to so many doctor's appointments and go to specialists. I had no clue that a couple years ago, my husband would break his leg and that he would be out of work for 4 to 5 months, something that previously would have crippled us financially. And I was like, babe, don't even sweat it, just get better. Like, guys, it was a crazy, it wasn't like, ooh, I slipped and fell and broke my leg. He was cutting down a tree, the tree swung back, hit him, he somersaulted in the air, broke right through his tibia and fibia, screws, plates, the whole 9 yards. Like, he made $13,000 that year. Think about that. If one of your income earners just like, poof, it was gone, right? I didn't know that was going to happen when I said yes to the mess. I didn't know that RA, rheumatoid arthritis, would force me to leave my hair salon this year. One of the hardest things I've ever done. It still brings me to tears. I loved what I did, you guys. I loved my clients. I had a really good life there, but it wasn't my best life. And I think I was just a little bit stubborn and not giving it up. I wasn't surrendering at all. And God finally said, Shayne Devlin, you're going to have to surrender. My kids had to dress me every day. I couldn't hold scissors or a blow dryer. I couldn't pull my covers up at night. I had to use my teeth. That's how bad my hands were. And I'm not saying that for you to feel bad for me, not 1 inch. Because you know what? Everybody wants an awesome message, but nobody wants the mess. I'm telling you my mess because somebody's going to need to hear your mess too. Your mess is going to bring you a powerful message. And lastly, 14 years ago, I didn't know that while I was going through all this with my RA, my youngest daughter was going to be totally paralyzed by anxiety. Her anxiety right now is so bad, she literally will not leave the house without me. And she's 19, and I can't leave the house without her. But this weekend at that Arbonne retreat, I could bring her. I could bring her everywhere with me. What if I worked for corporate America, you guys? I do very well with Arbonne. I have a great income, and I'd have to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week to earn that in corporate America. What if I hadn't said yes to the mess? What if you hadn't? You don't know what storms life is going to bring you, but I want you to be prepared. I want you to prepare now. Rita Davenport used to tell us, prepare for impact. You've got to prepare now, but you don't know what's coming. So here's my call to action because I'm out of time, and I can send this to Tammy. What I'm working with on my team are a couple different things. Number one, we're getting their stories clear. We're getting them down pat, concise, compelling, and clear. Kendra Hall is our speaker at GTC, and she is a storyteller. Watch her on YouTube, order her book. Learn to tell your story as a story. I took you on my journey tonight. I hope it was effective. I hope that you guys got to see that I'm not a bunch of facts or statistics, that I'm a person with a heartbeat and dreams and desires and a family, and that if it can happen for me, it can happen for you. So get your story down pat. Work with your upline VPs so that you have a compelling story. That's number one. Number two, get clear on who you're looking for. Write down the characteristic qualities of the people you're looking to sponsor. And I want you to do two things. Pull 4 of those out and write it on an index card. That is now your goal card. I want you to go become that person. Okay, was that clear? I hope that was clear. All the characteristic qualities, pick 4, write it down, go become that person. And then lastly, I want you to start dreaming again. And I want you to dream in detail. Where do you want to end 2019? Where do you want to be by GTC? And where do you want to be in the next 36 months? And when I'm talking detail, I'm talking detail. I'm waking up and it's Sunday morning. I can smell whatever. I can smell the woods because we're on vacation on a mountainside retreat. I've got my family with me. I'm about to go downstairs and blend up protein shakes and fizz because I fuel my body. I am a healthy, fit, lean, healthy 140 pounds. By the way, our clean eating, I lost 61 pounds and it changed my family's legacy of obesity. We were all morbidly obese. I changed that for my daughters with this program. Priceless. Priceless. Arbonne goes away tomorrow. Priceless. All the other things I've learned from this business, right? Get that clear when you're waking up in the morning in your bed. Make it about GTC. I am a brand new RVP walking stage at GTC 2020. I'm wearing a green dress. I see my team up in the stands. Whatever it is, I want you to be that clear. Okay? Because those dreams need to be so powerful that they pull you forward. They propel you into your future so that when you wake up in the morning, you just grab life by the horns. And like I say to my daughters, when we're getting hit with all these storms that come, our saying is, not today, Satan, not today, because I got dreams and we're making them happen. And I want you to too. only 68 pounds. I'm so pumped for you, you rock star. That is awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I've gone over time, so I will shut up. Tammy, thank you so much. I hope I was able to give you a couple nuggets.
Oh my goodness, Shayne, that was so full of incredible golden nuggets. And you guys, you see why I was so excited to bring her on and share her with all of you tonight. And I love your word surrender, because girl, you did surrender. And but you know, your part about letting your dreams pull you forward and allowing yourself to dream big. And then that, if you think about your dreams and you plan and you really put a thought to it and you work on your story, you've got what you need to move forward. So I just adore you, and
I love
I'm
you.
excited. I can't wait to see you. I will get this information, what she put to action for us, and I will post it somewhere where your leaders can get it to you. And the book list. A lot of people were wanting your book list.
Absolutely.
And we all continue to do personal growth. And Shayne, I'm so blessed beyond measure that you have taken the time to share your story and your life and things that you went through on your journey. And let me tell you, 14 years is fabulous. You know, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. It's because you did not quit. As you said, never quit this business. And he obviously had a plan for you. So we love you and thank you so much for being on tonight. And everybody, thank you for your participation.
Love you guys.
Be sure and read the messages here on the side. They're just precious.
They are beautiful, and you guys are way, way, way too kind. And I want to see you at GTC. I want to get to know you and meet you. Terry, I love you so much. Terry is just such a near and dear friend. I love her to pieces. You guys are all so sweet, and I can't wait to meet you all.
Thanks, Shayne, and have a good night.
Night, honey. Thank you for having me. Love you.